Hello, everyone. Before I start, I'd like to say thank you for this amazing opportunity, and all glory to God for making this possible. May I also add, I am the first student speaker from Rock Island, so in a way I'm making history as we speak. I was asked today to speak about AVID, and usually when people hear about AVID, they think about the academic aspects. Well, today I'm going to talk about the other side of AVID, the emotional side. On the last day of 6th grade, I was recommended by my teacher to apply for the AVID program, which at the time was only available from 7th grade to 3rd grade. At first, I was hesitant because, in all honesty, as an immigrant in the first generation, I did not think college was a choice. After a whole day of contemplating and getting advice from my brother, who was already in AVID, I decided to join. I get interviewed at the end of the school day, and I am nervous. I can barely make a sentence, kind of like now. Thankfully, I somehow managed to pass the interview and joined AVID. I remember back to my very first day of school, the year 2010. First days of schools are the most transformative moments for any kid's life, especially if it's in a different country. I was immediately put into an English language learning class, and I was not necessarily bullied, but I was looked at strangely by my fellow classmates for not speaking the same language. Therefore, I was treated differently. I eventually made friends, but had to move in the middle of my 1st grade year and go to another school. At my new school, I was behind in everything, and my teachers always made sure I knew. You need to work on your spelling. Your vocabulary is lurking, they always told me. I continued to hear these words till the 3rd grade, where I had a breakthrough. I started studying and improving every year. I improved so much, it came to a point that I was considered the smart girl. Now, for most people, they would love to be labeled smart, right? But it became this constant pressure following me around. I had to be the best in class. I had to get an A on that test. I had to be smart. Spending nights with papers all over my bed as I studied, snack wrappers everywhere, and bags under my eyes as I struggled to stay awake. I became an addict to good grades. If I received a lower grade than a possible standard I set for myself, I would experience withdrawal. In order to make myself feel accomplished, I would isolate myself and go into a study-crazed environment. School became my number one priority as well as my identity. Then comes the happiest days for most students, including myself. Freshman year, March 2020, school shut down and everyone went into quarantine. I did not know it back then, but I desperately needed this break, even though I did not want it. So for the first time in years, I did not study or pick up a book for months. I became lost. What am I supposed to do now? I asked myself. Since the only thing I knew was school, without it, I was disoriented. Come around sophomore year, we have online school, and I am unmotivated. Coming from a big family, juggling home life and online school was like writing an essay in the middle of a circus every single day. My grades plummeted, and my mental health with them. I unconsciously tied my happiness to my performance in school. I was no longer the smart girl. I had lost my identity. January 2021, new year, new me, I yelled, ready to make a change. I knew the change I needed wasn't going to take place overnight, but boy, do I wish it did. I eventually knew that my feelings were simultaneously connected to how my performance was in school, and all I needed to do was disconnect them. Sounds easier than it was. I decided to ask my AVID teacher for advice and asked, what could I do to better my mental health and my overall well-being? She told me, better your eating habits, because what you eat really does reflect your actions and emotions. On a side note, she is a gardener, so that's why I trusted her on this information. I also incorporated exercise into my daily life. I started to partake in activities that brought me happiness, like dancing, cooking, and hanging out with my friends. I even decided to finally utilize the study methods AVID taught me, like participating in tutorial groups by asking questions and actually allowing my fellow classmates to help me. I started to do the steps of focused note-taking rather than going through the motions, which I'm pretty sure most students do. And would you know, it works. Another thing that helped me tremendously was finally becoming great friends with my AVID classmates. Spending every fun day Monday with either an intense game of spoons that brought us closer each time, or a murder mystery game where we betray each other's trust to save face, but eventually make up the next day. Even though we had some ups and downs, they truly became a part of my AVID family, and I honestly love and miss them all. My AVID family consists of many great people. This includes, of course, all my AVID teachers, all my classmates, and teachers who printed the notes into chronological form so I wouldn't have to bring my own, and most importantly, my immediate family. I still feel bad to this day for making my sister buy me the biggest backpack in the store because I needed to fit my not 2, not 3, but 4-inch binder in the bag. I eventually downgraded to a 3-inch after my first year and realizing how heavy they can get. AVID also provided so many amazing opportunities for me. For example, I was able to serve on the Student Advisory Council for the Illinois Success Network, which helps students on their pathway to college and/or career choice. I was given the chance to go around the elementary schools in my district and inform students and parents about AVID. Moreover, AVID helped me step out of my shell and join more clubs. I even became the vice president or president for most of them. I was even able to help host for the very first time at my high school a cultural fest where everyone is able to display their culture and be proud of who they are and where they're from, something little me would have appreciated when she first came to America. Lastly and surprisingly, I was also given the honor of being prom queen for my school, so yeah. About 6 months later, I noticed I was happier and did not stress about my grades. I learned to live a life apart from school, and I was loving every bit of it. AVID really had helped me to not stress myself out, but AVID had really helped me to not stress myself out trying to reach an impossible standard, but to go at my own pace. Even when I thought I was failing, my AVID family always made sure to remind me of my worth when I needed it, emotionally and academically. I now think back on what could have possibly made my life so consumed by school. It is simply because I let the expectations of people around me alter who I am. Donald Bartholomew once said, "We are the sum of messages we have received, the true messages and the false messages." See, I let the false messages consume me rather than focusing on the true messages. And when receiving messages, it's hard to decipher which is true and which is not. That's where AVID played a part in helping me shape my view of myself. I was able to see who I really am through AVID. I was no longer the smart girl, I became Aline Niyogusenga. For future plans, I'll be attending Northern Illinois University, and I plan on majoring in psychology and someday become a psychiatrist. Thank you.